This is a warning, brother. The sound that is about to play will contain graphic and foul language, yeah, but is intended to be entertaining, at least to some. Oh, yeah. If you are easily offended, yeah, don't have a sense of humor, yeah, or have your head up your ass, oh, yeah, this isn't for you. Everyone else, please try to have fun. And as always, the cream rises to the top and stay creative.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bryan SilverBax Show. I am Bryan SilverBax. I'm an artist. I'm a podcaster. I do all kinds of shit to try to have fun. Today, I'm going to be talking with Alex Lobato, who's also doing multiple cool things. And he happened to have seen the TV show that is taking over Amazon, The Boys. We just may talk about it, so you guys stick around. What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's happening, Brian?
Not much, just so you know that this podcast will actually air the first day of Dragon Con.
Oh, that's great. We can listen to it together.
Yeah, so we'll listen to it. So, did I hear you correctly? You are coming to Dragon Con?
You know it.
That is awesome. Like, I can't believe, like, I've done Dragon Con. I think this is my 4th year. And I normally see like the same, Atlanta people that I see when we do all the shows together. This is the first time that I'm really getting it. Like, a lot of people that are in my Scout family are going to be here, and I had no idea.
Oh man, that's awesome. This will be my first time and Richard's first time going to Dragon Con. Richard from Stabby Bunny.
Yes, and, Mr. Rivera.
We're super stoked, man. We're excited about it. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So what did I have nothing to do with this, but I did drop Richard and the Stabby Bunny name into the guy that curates people for Dragon Con last year. I was like, hey man, because Richard was sick, and he had that he had the GoFundMe going on and everything, and I was just like, you know what? I wonder if he's ever done Dragon Con, and he said he hadn't. So I mentioned it to the guy that runs the Dragon Con Artist Alley, and I was like, "Hey, check this guy's stuff out, and maybe down the road it's worth a guest spot or whatever." And then a couple of months later, boom.
Whatever you did, it worked, and we're happy.
That's awesome.
We're gonna be there with some Stabby Bunny and some Shadow Play goodness.
Yeah, so explain to anyone that does not know how you are involved with the comic book world.
Well, I started a while back, got together with my buddies, and we decided we wanted to check off the bucket list, create a comic book. So we started building a world, and we created a comic book called Max Hunter, built in a world called Gateway City. So we started doing the con circuits, because that's the way to get your name out there. You got to go to the cons. You got to
build that fan base.
Of course. And we met Richard there, and he was showing me, some Stabby goodness before the printing and the process and all that.
When he was still independent, and it was just 100% his.
Oh no! Even before that, in conceptual mode.
Oh, okay.
Like we're talking about on an iPad, showing me the awesome artwork of the first issue. And man, we got along so well that we started conning together. And Stabby came out, and Max Hunter and Stabby went to New York Comic Con together. We tabled together, and from then we built a beautiful relationship. So we decided to work on a project together, and that's where Shadow Play came about.
All right. So where is Max Hunter now?
Max Hunter tags along to conventions. He's there in the midst of the Stabby and Shadow Play, but he's already had his time. So, when we're out there, we like to promote the newer stuff that's out there, but it doesn't have a home right now.
So Max Hunter never landed anywhere?
It didn't. No, it did. It did for a little bit, an independent company called Think Alike Productions.
Okay.
But then we ended up just doing our own thing. We called ourselves, at first we were Darkside Global, but then we changed our names to Gateway Comics because all our comics that we created, which is not just Max Hunter, we have Max Hunter, Redux by Proxy. We created these comics inside a world called Gateway City. Yeah. So we thought Gateway Comics might be more a better name for us. And then from there, we just indied it, but never found like an established publisher's home,
Okay.
which is fine. Which is fine. Everything has its time and place, and now we're moving on to the shadow play movement, which is the comic's great. I don't know if you've picked it up yet, but it's awesome.
I believe I have the first issue of Shadow Play because I'm a big fan of Clara Meath, I think her name is.
Yeah, she's the artist. She's awesome.
I have been following her inking work on Instagram for probably about 3 years now. Just, like I've never met her. I don't know that I've ever like had a conversation with her through text or otherwise. I just really liked watching her ink work because she works traditionally, and she has a shit ton of pencil lines and angles and perspective in every single panel, and she kills it.
It's really beautiful work. She's the first artist to take my breath away when it comes to doing the art from script to page. She really does a great job, man. She's awesome.
That's awesome. And for those that don't know, Shadow Play takes place alongside the Stabbity Bunny universe, correct?
Yes, it does. There's even a crossover in the future with the two main characters from Shadow Play and the main character and Bunny from Stabbity Bunny. So we look forward to showing that. We even have an alternate cover with the future crossover of Shadow Play and Stabbity Bunny, where Grace is a little older and they're working together. I won't spoil anything, but they're working together in this crossover that will eventually happen.
That's pretty awesome, man. Like I'm really excited. And with this taking place in the Stabbity Bunny universe, are you and Richard both teaming up to write this project, or is this mainly you and just like with his input to make sure you don't like do anything outside of the universe?
No, this is the opposite, actually. Me and Richard came together to create this Shadow Play universe and these characters, and Richard took the reins for writing because if you've read his work, he's just, I don't want to touch the stuff, He's awesome at writing these scripts. So I'm a co-creator, that's all.
So you're not actively involved, like you don't, like how involved are you with each issue outside of or inside the Shadow Play world?
Again, just helped with building the universe, and I'll read the scripts, I'll talk to Richard, but Richard does the writing. Like I don't step in and write. He does all the writing.
All right. So
it's a tough problem. I've co-written before on another project that still isn't released yet, called Kaigo 9, and it's really tough to co-write because then when you're reading it, it's like it feels different. It feels like it's not as together as it should be. So when you're working as a team, sometimes you have to just assign the tasks. Like, oh, you're doing this and I'm doing that, and so on and so forth.
So what projects are you working on? Like, do you have anything that you're working on right now by yourself? Like anything new?
Well, right now I'm looking to finish the Kaigo 9 project.
Okay.
Which is also taking place in the Gateway City universe. And I want to re-release Max Hunter in the future with a different artist, but that's nothing that's been pushed forward yet. It's just on the back burner.
I know some people, but you probably know people too. How long have you been doing the comic circuit? Like, how long have you been on doing shows and stuff like that?
Well, let's see. I met my wife, 6 years? 6 years. So 6 years. So about 6 to 7 years.
Okay. So you have made quite, in 6 years, you've probably created quite the network for yourself.
Yeah, I've met a lot of good people along the way.
That's pretty awesome. And you're in Florida, correct?
Yeah, I lived in Miami my whole life, but we just recently moved to Orlando last year. So this is 1 year now that we live in Orlando.
I met you at the Daytona Beach Comic Con.
Yes.
Was that the full name of it?
Honestly, I don't remember, but it was in Daytona Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
We did some karaokeing that night.
Yeah, well, you did some karaoke, and I just watched. So you had a good time. So you guys are coming up to Atlanta. I'm so excited now. I'm not the person to do all the after hours stuff. So you guys will probably be like going out to clubs and bars and pubs and getting some late night wings and looking at all the adult cosplay walking down the street. And I will have driven home and passed the fuck out.
Listen, you and I, we're not too far away. We're in the same boat there.
Yeah, when it comes to doing shows, because I generally don't eat like a full meal during the day. And all I want to do is just leave, eat, and get off my feet and not have somebody talking to me. Just to decompress.
The shows, they're long, man, and they're a lot of work, and that's a lot of times that's what most people do. They just go home and say, all right,
yeah, but
I'm going to bed.
You've got those powerhouses that'll be like, yo, we stayed up till 2 a.m. doing karaoke, and we were doing all kinds of kamikaze body shots, and next thing you know, homeboy over here's having, and I'm just like, God dang, and you're here right now?
That's for the youth, man. That's for the youth right there.
Did it? Yeah, so I am not the party guy. Like, we can fucking go to Shoney's and we can all sit down and have some food, but I'm going home.
Well, that sounds like a plan right there. Let's mark Shoney's as a thing to do.
Well, let's see. I was talking to, who was I talking to? I guess I was talking to David Byrne from
The Couch.
The Couch and Steak. Mm-hmm. I think he said that he was told that he has to go to the Varsity while he's up here. Because he's also coming up here with James Pruitt, and they're going to be having a Scout booth.
That's awesome.
So I think if I understand the message I got from the guy from Dragon Con, that you two guys, the Richard booth and the Scout booth, should be in close proximity to one another. But I am at the complete opposite end of the field.
Oh, that's all right. We'll be visiting each other for sure. Be hanging out in each other's booths.
Well, yeah. Well, that part of what I appreciate Richard for doing is including me in this Dragon Con exclusive project that he has coming for Stabity Bunny for Dragon Con. He asked me to donate 4 original Stabity Bunny pinups to be featured in the back of the book as like a pinup gallery for the Stabity Bunny. And that will only be in the Dragon Con version, so that way when people buy it at his table, they can come get it signed by me at my table and kind of... So out of the niceness of his heart, he's trying to help send people to my booth, and I appreciate that.
Well, at the end of the day, that's a great opportunity, too. I mean, to be able to go get this exclusive copy and then get the artist to sign it is almost a rarity at times. You You don't get a chance for the artists and the creators, to do that at conventions. You only sometimes you get one or the other, But that's really a good opportunity for anybody who wants to pick up the exclusive.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And he also made sure to let me know that he will be bringing some Stabity Bunny sketch covers that he will sign and sell to people, and then send them over to my way so I can draw Stabity Bunny doing cosplay on their thing like we did last time we did a show together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Richard's great, man. Great guy.
Is Wayne coming up with you guys?
You know it.
All right, so you guys are going to be 3 deep in the table. And then and then David and James are going to be at the Scout table. And let's see. Walter from Metal Shark Bro is going to be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's just going to be a whole hoot nanny.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it. So, you watched The Boys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was no way I wasn't watching The Boys.
Well, here. So you know who you're dealing with is, I had never read the comic books. Okay. I have never read any of Garth Ennis's work, but I was familiar with the popularity of Preacher, the Hitman,
right,
and the Punisher stuff that he had done. Like I knew that existed. I knew his name, and I knew that a lot of people were talking about how good the work was. I had never experienced it for myself, but I did watch like the first 2 seasons of Preacher and had a good time with that. But when this Boys show came out, I didn't have a clue like what it was or what, like, I had zero expectations. So I was happily surprised.
When it was announced, I literally got giddy. Like a little girl, schoolgirl, I got giddy, you know? Like I was so happy. That comic, oh man. I mean, it was a long time ago. I mean, that comic came out, man, it was definitely a long time ago. But it was just so good and it was so different from like everything else.
Now, were you collecting when it was like the 4 issues at Dynamite Comics or Wildstorm?
Yes.
I mean, that like the first 4 issues were Wildstorm, and then they switched over and Dynamite picked them up. Did you have all those?
Oh man, I don't know. The issues that I remember purchasing, and I'm pretty sure that I started with issue 1. I thought they were all Dynamite. I didn't know they were picked up.
No,
from Wildstorm.
I think the first 4 issues were through Wildstorm. Wildstorm said it was too adult for them, and Dynamite picked it up. And then later down the road, Dynamite re-released issue number 1 with a Dynamite label. I think, but
that's when I started picking. Oh no, maybe I do have the. I have to check. I still have the issue somewhere. I got to check.
Yeah, but so you were, but when you heard the show was announced, you were deep into knowing what The Boys was all about.
Yes, but the good news is that I had already forgotten a lot of it. So I was also pleasantly surprised to watch. It was like a different kind of way of watching it. Like I'm watching it and being reminded of the comic book, and I was like, oh man. And so they did a really good job staying true to the story with some minor changes here and there, but they work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I read somebody saying that they did the show took some liberties to change stuff, but only to bring it to a more current time, I believe.
Right.
Like nothing detrimental. Like they didn't change anybody's origin. They didn't change their name or their gender or whatever just to try to be politically correct. The only thing they did was kind of modernize the story that was being told. Yeah,
there were even some scenes in the first episode. I'm like, are they going to go there? And yeah, they went there.
They went there. Yeah, I was watching, not knowing what to expect. And then when the guy, spoilers, and then when the guy's girlfriend just gets obliterated right at the very beginning after talking about laying cable and stuff. And I was just like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Because I didn't know what to expect. And I still didn't, but I knew that this meant there was no holds barred. The girl was cussing. They were talking about taking a shit. And all of a sudden she explodes into blood. I said, I'm going to be all about it. And then the little Flash guy turns around and says, oh, my bad, and just keeps trucking. Yes, sir. I'm all in at that point. I've pushed in all my chips.
That's the grab you moment in the comics as well. Like when you read the comic and you see that happen, you're like, okay, this is for me and I'm on board.
Yeah,
that's the same
that
thing.
was pretty badass.
And there were changes there, minor changes from the comic and the show right there, that same scene, but it didn't change anything. Like you still felt the same way. Like, holy crap, I'm in, That's
awesome. And then I think every single actor who was on that show knocked it out of the park.
For sure.
I can't think of one example of where somebody didn't feel genuine. Like every one of those people, you almost didn't remember seeing them in anything else because you were watching The Deep or you were watching, Translucent or all the other guys, Billy. Like you didn't see that was Carl Urban. That was Billy Butcher.
Oh yeah.
And
that
it was just so fun. Like I can't. And the Stardust or Starlight or whatever her name is, like that character. I was so blown away at how much fun I had with each and every episode of that show. And then when they capped it off on the finale, I did not see that information coming. And it blew me the fuck away.
I did not see that coming because that doesn't happen in the comics. So that was awesome. Like,
yes.
I was just like, yes.
Because I was wondering, how is this show going to end? Like, what is the end here? What are they going to be able to do, and what can they do to make me interested in the second season? And I had almost forgotten about Billy Butcher's quest and his, like, why he was doing everything he was doing. And then all of a sudden they dropped that ending on us. And I was like, oh shit, son. Like, she's there voluntarily.
So his quest isn't done. It's almost just beginning.
But now he's got to be like, I did all that shit and you really just fucking ran away.
And what makes Butcher's character so interesting is that I think that's not going to change his attitude towards supers. You know what I mean? Like, he is so set in his ways that he's going to be conflicted for sure, but I think he's going to stay strong and held fast on how he deals with these supers, coming second season.
Yeah, and through this mission right here that we saw the episodes of, he's gotten exposure to a lot more underhandedness that the supers are involved in that is also going to be eating at him.
Right.
Just because they're super means they can be drug dealers or drug users or, not have to answer for their actions. So that's going to be, I feel that's going to be a more political part of what he's doing. Just trying to make them be held accountable.
Sure. He's going to have to find different ways of attacking the problem, for sure. And he's also going to have to try to get the team back together. Because, it's not that they were apart or anything, but, shit happens at that last episode, and they're going to have to, figure things out.
Yeah, is the boys going to be a different lineup? Like, are all those guys going to come back to follow Butcher?
They should.
Or, I didn't read the comic book, so I don't even know, like, what the comic books does next. Like, there's one missing
member of the boys.
Okay.
And we see just one hint of that member in the first season.
Okay.
And so when I went to San Diego Comic-Con this year, and one of the few panels I actually got to get into was the boys.
Uh-oh.
And in the panel, they mentioned that character might be in the second season. Maybe not how we want him to be, but he'll be in the second season. That character is Terror. In the comic, it's Butch's dog.
Oh, wow.
But he's so awesome in the comics. Like, Terror is an awesome character in the comics. So I'm really looking forward to see him in the second. And then now, with that ending that they showed, it is very possible that the dog is also in the story. Or maybe we'll see flashbacks or something. But he's a cool character in The Boys as well.
Now, going forward to season 2, what do you think happens to the idea of the Seven? Do you think that the Seven is disbanded and then superheroes are outlawed? Or how do you feel that society will be viewing supers in season 2?
I'm not going to go off the comics. I'm just going to tell you what I think
just from watching the show.
Awesome. Right, exactly. I think the Seven are going to, try to maybe separate themselves from the government, say, okay, you know what, we're superheroes, we don't need anybody telling us what to do. So if that happens, they might do that, or maybe, someone else takes charge of them, or someone else, they were trying to sell the idea of the Seven to different countries, and so maybe something like that happens.
The main lady behind all that is no longer with us.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
So, well, I guess what we did find though is that what they kind of introduced towards the end of the season was someone's calling me. I'm gonna have to hang up on them. That there are super bad guys. What with that Taliban guy, right?
Right.
So that means that they sold the technology of the V juice to somebody, and they started making their own. So the second season, I believe we're going to be seeing like legitimate bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea behind the boys is that, you know, that these superheroes are the villains, you know? So I think we'll see more quote unquote superheroes, but maybe we will see some legitimate bad guys or people that are made to, like, maybe the people that are made to look like bad guys, but maybe they're not so much bad guys. Maybe we'll see different perspectives and different angles.
But we both agree that we will see more supers, though, I do believe.
Yes. I really think that, I mean, for sure we'll see more supers.
And then what do you think maybe Mother's Milk or MM, what if he like shot up some V juice and became like super powerful and they were like, oh, we need a super on our team. Do you think that that anybody on the boys would voluntarily say, all right, one of us needs to be badass so we can help take these motherfuckers down? Do you think that might happen?
So I can't comment.
So because of your comic book knowledge. But I mean, this is an area where we can do that. Like, you can tell me that, hey, in the comic books, so-and-so does this.
So the idea of the serum is right off the bat, introduced in the comics. And the purpose behind the serum wasn't that it created supers, but that the boys would use it sort of like a drug, sort of like an adrenaline shot, to be able to match up against these supers, right?
So it's more of like
battling.
It's more of like doing a couple of bumps of cocaine. Like, you're going to be super for a little bit, and then it's going to wear off, and you're going to go back to being regular guy.
Exactly, and that leads to maybe some character development there with maybe some addiction problems. I mean, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, that's
we'll
awesome.
Definitely see second season.
Yeah, they've already greenlit it, and they've already shown someone put pictures on the web already.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, the creators, they're super excited about making this show. So I see a couple of seasons definitely in the future.
I mean, this is the same team, Seth Rogen and his buddies, that are doing Preacher. They're also doing this.
Oh yeah, man. And let me tell you, it's just what a dream team, especially when it comes to this project.
I like the no holds barred approach. I like the down and gritty, like everything feels like it's just, to me, it kind of felt like maybe like a Black Mirror episode. Like, we're close to this. Like, this is as close to grounded as you're going to be able to get in a superhero. Like, it felt like it could happen for real.
They tried to get this done a long time ago. Seth Rogen and
Evan Goldstein or Evan Goldberg.
Right. They tried to get this done a while ago, and they just couldn't. Like, it kept, they just couldn't do it. I feel like this was the perfect time for them to release The Boys. Like, we're already oversaturated with these superhero movies and superhero shows, which, hey, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But, this is the perfect time to say, well, here's something different with superheroes, and it was really all about timing, and it's perfect that they released it now.
Yeah, dude, I think that the cool superhero movies, like with all the Batman, the Captain America, those type big Spider-Man movies, are bringing a lot of attention to the world of comic books. But the actual world of comic books has gotten so much more complex than superheroes, and that's what's fun. Like, Image has very few superhero titles. It's more like alt world and kind of stuff like that. And Scout says that they're not even putting out superhero books. We're just putting out stories. Like, so it's really cool that the industry is thriving because of the attention that the comic book hero movies get, even though the comic book medium is kind of switching gears to less hero stuff. Right.
And yeah, the indie scene is great, man. We're seeing that all over the indie scene. Great stories, where they take a scenario, they say, hey, what if this? And then they do it, and it's like, have you read Paper Girls by any chance?
I have not.
Oh man, if you could pick it up, awesome comic book, different story, and like you said, they're not necessarily superhero stories, but they're definitely fantastical and things that we haven't seen before. The indie scene is just so awesome, and it has been for a while.
Yes, but like I'm saying, so now these companies that want to create content, these movie and film companies that want to create content, can't really afford to buy the next Marvel guy's property or the next DC. So they're looking at the independent scene and buying up properties that they think have potential from the indie guys. So people at our level are getting these paychecks and these and this medium to bring their creations to life. And that hasn't happened as much in the past, but Hollywood now knows that comic books are a great source of original ideas, which Hollywood is severely lacking.
Oh yeah, let me tell you, this is a great time to be a creator. I mean, it's the right time to be a creator, especially if you have a story that just needs, people need to see it. This is the time where people can see it. People it could become a movie or a TV show or get its hands on the right place.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I'm excited for all the people that are getting optioned and getting deals and just having people look at their work that 10 years ago, nobody would have given them the time of day.
Right.
And not because the quality of work was bad, just because they were like, fuck, you're comic books. What is that?
Right. Right.
So that's awesome, man. You're a wrestling fan, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I haven't been up to date with wrestling, but I'm an old school wrestling fan.
All right, so you're not watching the new stuff.
No, but I hear some of the new stuff's really good.
Well, AEW is where it's at, sir. I need you to tune into some AEW stuff.
Yeah, they're saying that AEW is like it reminds people of the old WCW.
Well, it reminds me of the Attitude Era because they're cutting promos with non-PG stuff, and they get to add color to their pay-per-view matches.
Oh, nice.
So it just, and they're in charge of their own characters, which is really something we haven't seen in wrestling in like the past 10 years. Is they're not waiting for somebody backstage to write them a promo. These guys have to go out there and cut their own promos, and they guide their character development, which is not something WWE was letting happen.
Oh man!
So it's really fun.
That's their loss. Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah. So
you know what? I'll take a look at it for sure.
Yeah, and they've got some really cool names. Like I'm watching Goldust and Cody Rhodes tag team, and it is great stuff.
Get out of here! They're really still doing it. Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I met him the other. Oh, he's going to be at Dragon Con. Shit, Dustin Rhodes.
What?
Yeah, he's going to be at Dragon Con.
That's awesome.
I got to meet him at a show I did a couple of months ago, the Magic City Con. He was such a great guy, dude. He was so awesome. He even took my silverback selfie where you make the face.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
But yeah, I would recommend AEW,
awesome.
Man.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out.
So
it's about time to get back into wrestling, that's for sure.
It is a good time because also Vince McMahon is kind of letting go of WWE, and he's he's letting Paul Heyman take over Monday nights, and he's letting Eric Bischoff take over SmackDowns. Because because in October SmackDown goes to FS1, I think.
Okay.
And it'll be their property. So they're trying to have these new creative people and telling Vince McMahon, hey, you're too old you don't know what's hip anymore. These guys have had their finger on the pulse for a while. Let them get a shot. So we're starting to get some new stuff.
That's awesome.
So have you looked at the guest list for Dragon Con?
I'm already separating my pops to get some signatures, man.
All right. Then you may be the guy that I need to talk to. Because I have a book that I would like to get signed, and I'm going to give you the money. I just don't have the opportunity to stand in line. And I have a feeling that you're already going to be in line for this fella. So
Who do you want?
I need a Carl Urban.
Dude, so my wife's going with me to Dragon Con, and that is her absolute. You know how everybody, you with your wife, you always have that one famous person. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes. I'll tell you
that's hers.
I'll give you a for instance. So last year, Last year, like 5 or 6 of the members of the show, the 100, were at Dragon Con. And my
nice.
wife is a huge fan of the show. Well, there's an actor who was on like the first 2 seasons. His name's Ricky Whittle. And he played like, the character was called Lincoln, I guess. He was like a real heartthrobby, light-skinned dude who's just big and kicked ass and shit.
Yeah, I remember. I think I saw the first 2 seasons, and then we left cable.
Yeah, well, that's like, she's all about that dude, right?
Right.
And he was at Dragon Con, so she paid for the Ricky Whittle experience where you get a selfie, you get a kiss, and then like a little shout out on his Twitter and shit. And you get this cool little lanyard that says, I got to have the Ricky Whittle experience. She got his autograph. But dude, you want to talk about being on cloud nine? She was on cloud 9.
Nice.
But so,
nice. Yeah.
In preparation for Dragon Con, I went and ordered the sequel to the Dread movie. You know,
Okay.
they did a comic book sequel to the movie.
I didn't know. No, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's called Dread Underbelly, and that is the comic book sequel to the movie that we got to see and we all enjoyed. So I would like to hand that off to someone who's going to be already in line to just pay the extra $40 and get him to scribble his name on the front of it for me.
You got it, man. Don't worry about it. We got you covered.
All right. So so with your wife being there, I imagine one of y'all is going to be in line at some point.
Well, we saw him recently, and we got the Judge Dredd pop signed by him. But I have more Carl Urban pops that need signatures.
Who did you get? Who do you have? Do you have the Executioner? Did he have a pop?
No, I don't. No, no. It was just Judge Dredd, and also his character in Star Trek.
McCoy or something.
Yeah, McCoy. Yeah. So McCoy, I have McCoy's pop.
And Lord of the Rings.
Want to get signed? Right. I mean, he's in so many. I mean, you know, I think he's one of those people that have possibly, if you look at it, the most pops.
Oh, no. I'm sure.
He's got so many roles.
Okay, different versions, because I guarantee you there's like 60 million Iron Man pops.
Right. No, I'm saying like maybe if you would look at the actor and the different roles.
Okay.
And the different, you know.
You're talking about
so, like,
diversifying. I get if you take voice actors out of the mix, because voice actors, they can have 20 different pops, man.
That's for sure. Tara Strong alone has a crap ton of pops.
Yeah, I have yet to get anything signed by her. I'd like to. My wife's a Harley Quinn fan.
That's a good one. You know, Raven too is another great one to get signed by her.
Yeah,
she's awesome too.
I don't. Oh, you're talking about her as a person?
Yeah, her as a person, she's awesome.
I've heard she's a nice person to be around, and she's always just so much fun.
Yeah.
Who else on the Dragon Con list has you stoked?
Oh, man. What other pops are we taking to Dragon Con? Dude, I can't even, because there's so many.
Oh, you know who's going to be there?
Carrie Alls is going to be there, and we have, so we might take his pop.
From Princess Bride?
From Princess Bride. Mm-hmm.
Not from Saw.
Robert Englund's going to be there.
Yeah.
But I already have a Freddy signed by him. So I probably won't take a pop to him, but it's exciting to see him too. And I'm taking the Iron Giant pop. Because the animator is going to be there.
Okay.
So I want him to sign my Iron. I love that movie.
Do you have a Lobo pop?
Yes.
Because
I do. Why?
Because Keith Giffen is going to be there.
Really?
Yeah, Keith Giffen and Marv Wolfman are going to be on the 4th floor with us.
Oh man,
I'm really excited about that. Like, you know, I'm a Lobo guy, so I'm going to get another Omega Man #3 signed by the both of them.
I mean, he's the main man, so
he is. Too bad that the show got canceled, though.
I know
they canceled the Krypton, and then immediately that just squashes the Lobo spinoff.
I don't even know what to tell you about that. I don't understand it. I really don't.
I don't either, man. Did you watch the Swamp Thing show?
No, and I'll tell you why. I haven't watched it yet. I have the DC Universe subscription. I saw Titans. I saw Doom Patrol, which Doom Patrol is one of my favorite shows out there right now.
I guess I need to watch. Like, they filmed that here. I could have been in the show. I just thought it was going to be corny, so I never tried out.
Man, it's so good.
That's what I've heard. I have to get on it.
But I didn't watch Swamp Thing because before it came out, they had canceled it already.
Well, so after the first episode, yeah.
Yeah. Do I invest my time to watch something that I know for sure is not going to be resolved, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, not that I have such precious time or anything, but I mean, I'll definitely watch it. It's just I'm not jumping on the gun so quickly.
Yeah, well, be sure to turn your brightness on your TV all the way up because that series is hard to watch. It's just so black. Everything is black, 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 black. And you can barely see what the fuck's going on. And then, like, the first, let's see, what was it, like 8-ish? Let's say it's 10 episodes. The first 5 were good. And then the second 5, I was just like, God dang, this is, what are we doing here?
Oh, yeah, man. I hate when they do that. I really do. I hate when they do it. They don't see it. Like when they preview, like when they see the episode, they don't say, "Man, this is dark."
I don't know, but I thought maybe like the first couple would be dark, and then they're like, "All right, we got to kick up the brightness," and they did not. So it was very hard to watch. But dude, I'm excited. I mean, when this airs, we will be in each other's company. That's pretty awesome. Oh,
that is awesome, man. I'm really stoked about the whole Atlanta. I've never been to Atlanta, period. So I'm really excited about going.
Oh, really? So are you staying with Richard and Wayne? Or are you getting your own place? Oh, you bring the wife, so y'all have probably got your own hotel somewhere.
No, man. We always Airbnb with Richard. That's the fun of it. After the cons, we go back to our Airbnb and we play all these nerdy board games. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, right on. So how close are you guys staying to the actual host hotels?
So we're staying like 15 minutes away from the airport, and I'm not sure how far that is from the host hotels.
That's a pretty decent trek. The host hotel or the airport is, I guess I don't know how to describe it. There's a perimeter, like a highway that goes around the city. You know, like the big highway that takes you all the way around Atlanta. The airport is on the outside of that. So probably from the airport to the host hotels is probably still like an extra 30 to 45 minutes of driving.
Oh, man. I mean, you know, it's okay, though. Like, you know, we'll get up early or whatnot. What we do is we try to find a more affordable, because the hotels, you know, they get pretty expensive at the cons.
Oh, yeah.
So we try to just find like a cheaper Airbnb, comfortable stay, you know, and then we'll get up a little earlier and Uber there or drive there.
Well, the thing about, there is a mass transit system that runs right to Dragon Con.
Oh, even better.
Especially from the airport. So if you want to go ahead and look up the maps, look up MARTA. It's like moving.
MARTA.
Yeah, MARTA is the transit system for Atlanta. Like Metro Atlanta, something. But MARTA runs trains from the airport to the center of Atlanta. Like, we used to take MARTA in when I would just go to watch the parade on Saturday, because Saturday morning there's a parade outside that takes place, like 7 miles of parade.
I heard.
So we would ride MARTA in from close to where we live. We'd catch on the MARTA train. And then when you get off the MARTA train, it's like an underground mall. They have stores and eateries and all kinds of shit. And then you just take a little escalator out, and then you're right there smack dab in the middle of the Dragon Con parades.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Actually, we had heard a little tips and tricks from one of a local artist that we follow a lot, what we love, Bianca. Man, I can't remember her last name, but I'll find out for you. She draws like these little like teddy bear versions of superheroes. That's how she started, like teddy bear.
I've seen her work. She does a lot of airbrush stuff and jelly pin.
Yes, she's super cool people. Last time we saw her and we told her we're going to Atlanta, she said, "Listen, get there before the parade."
Yes,
she said, because it gets crazy. Yeah, Bianca Roman Stump.
Yes, I follow her as well. There. Because she does some of the sketch card stuff that I do with Upper Deck.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, earlier as possible on Saturday. Because I think the con floor probably opens at 10, and I think the actual parade starts at 10. But people start setting up for that parade around 8 o'clock so they can get right there on the street side.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's like a lot of traffic, and you can't even get through once the parade starts.
And that is why I always took MARTA. I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Because I was there for the parade. But now that I'm a vendor there, I just get there early enough and park in my parking spot, and then I'll just go upstairs and chill for a little bit.
Okay. That sounds good, too.
Because if you have a vendor badge, then you'll be able to get in, before 10 o'clock. So you can go in about 8:30, 9 o'clock and avoid all that rigmarole and kind of just sit down and get your thoughts together. But if you're just a regular badge holder, you won't be able to enter the building until 10.
Right. Right. So, yeah, that's the plan, to get there early and just enter and wait for the swarm of people. Well, we're hoping. Swarm of people.
If I could offer any advice, it would be Xanax and water. Because there's a lot of people, and I get really claustrophobic, and there's a lot of not moving and just too many people in my personal space.
Yeah.
And it gets hot as balls. So bring some water.
Thanks for the advice, man. I think that's exactly what... I mean, we're used to the heat over here, but it might be a different kind of heat, so...
Well, it's very humid. You guys are humid as well, but the thing that drives the heat up is the sardines that are packed all together, and the humidity, and the fact that you don't want to pay $8 for a fucking bottle of water that costs 99 cents every other time.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
the con life.
So somebody needs to be designated backpack of water person.
So we got to designate backpack water person and then also peanut butter and jelly person.
Or since Richard has a table, you could bring a cooler, ask him to bring the cooler, and then just keep it behind the table. That way that no one has to lug around all the waters, and the waters will be there. Because he's got a 10 by 10 area that he's in charge, that he has. Me, I have a table, so I just have my table and like a couple of feet back from the table.
So they don't give you a hard time for bringing in coolers? I know other cons do. Like, they look at the cooler and they're like, oh, sorry, you can't bring that in because you're not supposed to sell, beverages or food or anything.
Here's the way that I usually do it, is I will have it as part of my load-in. Gotcha. So if I have a cooler, I've got 5 tubs of stuff and all kinds of other shit. They're not looking at me.
True.
Anytime I want to bring anything else in, I just put it in my book bag, and then I walk in with it in my book bag. But during load-in, there's the police aren't out to, you can't have that cooler in here.
Right. Okay. I think we'll sneak by a cooler.
All right. Where can people find you on the internet to follow all your stuff? Do you have a place? Yeah,
they could go to gatewaycomics.com. Not gonna lie, it's hasn't been touched up in a while, but they can definitely find us there.
All right.
And Shadow Play they could find in Scout Comics. They could purchase. We're at issue 5 right now. That's been released at comic book stores, near you. And issue 6 coming out soon. And then our trade paperback for Shadow Play coming out soon too. And obviously all the Stabbity Bunny goodness you can find in Scout Comics. Main website, and at the conventions, man, that's the best place to get these comics because you get them signed by the creators and the writers and the artists and all that good stuff. So,
yeah. So, if you're looking for anything from me, just type in Bryan SilverBax into the Instagram, Facebook, or podcast, or just go to silverbax.com and it gets you all to where you need to be. I was told today that my website has a ton of spelling errors, and that's how you know it's legit.
Yes.
Because if Bryan had something to do with it, there's spelling errors. Just so you know.
You didn't delegate that one.
No, I don't delegate shit. I don't have a team. I don't have a team. I just wait for people to say, hey, man, did you mean to say this? And I'll be like, yes, I'll go back in and fix it. So, like, the public is my editor.
That's a great editor, man. Nothing better than the public.
And they're free. Well, thank you for joining me, Alex. I really appreciate talking to you. And it looks like I'll be seeing you, well, actually, when this airs. So, as of right now, on this Monday, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
We're seeing each other right now. That's what we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
Right now, listeners. Right now.
We could be standing in line for Carl Urban together. Who knows? Thank you, Alex.
Who knows?
Thank you to everybody. Thanks, dude. Thanks for everybody listening. Support creativity. Support people that are doing cool shit and being unconventional about it. And just stay creative.
It's almost time.